Hi moms, so happy to talk to you. So today, as I'm just sitting in my bedroom, basically because this is the only quiet place in my house right now, I wanted to talk to you about when you feel overcome and kind of alone. Maybe your spouse or your close family members, maybe your parents, look at what you're trying to do to heal your child and quite frankly, don't believe that there's going to be all that much success to come from it. They probably look at you and think that you are just racking your brain, spinning your wheels, you're revamping the child's entire diet, you're causing them to have to bring a lunchbox wherever they go. Perhaps your family's even kind of annoyed that when you come to their house that you're bringing all your own food with them, or you're not even coming to their house that often anymore because you don't even want to deal with all the food that's been laid out for maybe a party or something. And that gets upsetting to them too because food is funny, right? We show love with food. So when you don't eat the food that someone's put out for you, when you kind of ruffle some feathers by saying, oh, we're not gonna be able to have that food here, or you might ask your family to come later in the day after everybody's eaten, it's just, food is part of society and it is part of life. And unfortunately, and here's what the kicker is, it's not as if you're telling people, if you come to my house, then I can only give you junk food. I can only give you food that might cause some inflammation. That's the only things that we can eat. No, you're saying to them, listen, if you come to my house, it's gonna be a lot of fruits. We might have just stir fry over brown rice for dinner. Maybe we'll just have some grilled chicken, some brown rice. For dessert, we might just have some apple slices in real caramel that I've made. For me, the caramel is just raw cashews and maple syrup in a 1-to-1 ratio in your Vitamix, or just more fresh fruit. And that can be hard on people because it's just not their norm. And so I get it. We were that family. Do you know that there was a Christmas Eve I'll never forget? We showed up and I think within 40 minutes, Charlie was maybe 3 or 4 and we hadn't even figured out the whole diet thing. He just was kind of a mess. And I also did know that certain foods affected him, like the normal stuff, like sugar. I remember saying we got to get out of here and telling my husband, I got to go. And he was like, okay. And we had 2 cars. He's like, okay. And I took my little child, left my husband and the 5 other kids on Christmas Eve at a Christmas Eve party. Instead of my husband saying, you know what, Carolyn, I agree with you. Let's get everybody in the car. Let's go home. Let's just read 'Twas the Night Before Christmas and do the best that we can. No, because you know what? He was fed up too. Because at that point we had just no clue what was going on. We just figured he was just this problem, wild child. I remember the next year saying, do we even have to go to these things? And I'd bring the lunchbox and I'd bring the platters and people, even if they didn't say it, although some of them did, they'd say things like, so how's that going? And oh, I had a friend who did that, but Carolyn, you just need to medicate him. And fast forward, I did end up medicating Charlie for a while. And when I did that, yes, I did see some nice changes. And so then I was able to pull back on that diet. But within months of him being on his medication, I was back at the neurologist's office okay, we need to up the dosage because I don't see the effects that I used to see. And then realized, oh my gosh, I had to do this whole diet thing because now I'm still seeing more behaviors because I let all the other foods back in. And then worked with that. And then eventually pulled that medication out because I'm like, something's not right on this. And still was stuck with only using real food and supplements to heal his little inflamed body. So in the end, do you know who some of my most common calls are from? They are from people who have been referred to me from family and friends that have known Charlie since he was young. Yeah, so it's okay if people think you're crazy right now, because you know what? They won't always think you're crazy. And to tell you the truth, it really doesn't matter what someone else thinks. Honestly, even your best friend, they're probably talking about you right now. Not even about your kid, not even about your diet. What I want to tell you is you need to keep your eye on the ball and go, you know what, right now, you're just healing your kid. And so if for right now, what's working for you is realizing that there is a correlation between what your child eats or has eaten in the past or all their inflammation, whether it be due to overgrowth of yeast or a lot of heavy metals, whatever it is, it needs to detox. And the way to detox is by feeding them the simplest, gentlest foods they can eat right now without any triggers, so that when they eat it, their body is like, okay, easy to digest, let's go, we've got a lot of energy, let's now get back to work on detoxing the cells of all the inflammation that we're already holding on to and we got to get rid of. And then very slowly, the inflammation decreases, and very slowly that brain on fire calms down, and very slowly behaviors fall away, and very slowly focus starts to come back, and very slowly they start to learn skills that children their age or even younger already know. Like my child literally was almost 11 years old when he could ride a bike and tie his shoes. But you know what? He's awesome now with all of that. So it's okay for people to think you're a little crazy. Who cares? And if you do enough research on everything that I tell you, you will still find and you will still come back and go, okay, when we eat things that the brain loves, we help the brain. The name of the game is inflammation. So just do your own research and be okay when people right now think you're cuckoo and that you're spinning your wheels. You're not spinning your wheels. You're not. You are not. All right? So stay with it, moms. Okay? You got this.